And I'm here at Sankey Tank. With this beautiful water body, the birds, and this lovely weather, this is a great place to have a cup of coffee. Right in the heart of this city, which some people call the IT hub, some people call it a pensioner's paradise, some people call it the Garden City, some people just call it Bengaluru. Me? I like to call it home. I'm going to take you on a tour of some of India's best destinations, help you meet some of your favorite musical celebrities, and even pick up a few of their recipes along the way. So welcome to Sights, Bites and Insights.
With a population of 8.5 million people, Bangalore has always been able to embrace both traditional and modern lifestyles. It has recently been voted not only India's most expensive city to live, but also India's best city to live. So come with me as we explore Bengaluru. Bangalore's founder Kempe Gowda constructed 4 towers to mark the boundaries of Bangalore as he saw it. Though these towers fall within the heart of the modern city, they still stand as a testament to this great man's vision. I'm here inside the 300-acre Cubbon Park where many people love to go for their morning walks and jogs. And there's no better way to start your day than with a healthy bowl of fruit. This imposing building behind me is the Vidhan Soudha, or the seat of state legislature. Apart from being Bangalore's most prominent landmark, it's also what makes it the capital of Karnataka. Commercial Street is an absolute shopper's paradise. Whatever you're looking for, be it jewelry, clothes, or shoes, you'll find it here. Bangalore has long been known as a haven for foodies. One of the high points is this place, Food Street or Tindi Bidi, where you can find almost any type of snacky food that you want to try. I can't wait to try it out. I'm here at Bangalore's Orion Mall. With 800,000 square feet of shopping space, this is one of Bangalore's most cosmopolitan spots and my favorite place to shop. I'm here in front of the beautiful Chowdhury Memorial Hall. This violin-shaped auditorium is possibly one of its kind in the world, and here is the perfect place for me to tell you who my guests are for this episode. Violin maestro Dr. L. Subramaniam, Bollywood's melody queen Kavita Krishnamurthy Subramaniam, but I call them Mom and Dad. So Mom, my first question is to you. You were born in Delhi to a Tamilian family. You were raised by the Tamilian Krishnamurtis and the Bengali Bhattacharyas. Then you moved to Bombay as a teenager. You've traveled the world, and now you divide your time between Bombay and Bangalore. So you kind of grew up in this melting pot of different Indian cultures. How has that impacted your life and made you who you are today?
Well, I think, as you say, I've had a very unusual childhood. And looking back, being a Krishnamurti, brought up by Bengalis, living in Delhi, and then finally in Maharashtra for so many years in Mumbai, which helped me make my career, and now thanks to my husband in Bangalore also. So apart from feeling the national integration, apart from the fact that I really truly feel like an Indian, the most important thing for me was that it helped me to broaden my horizon in musically also.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but your childhood was pretty dramatic too. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, both parents, my father was a violinist and singer, mother used to play the veena. But then, violin being an accompanying instrument, the scope for the violin was not that much those days, which was changed because of my father, who started developing a lot of solo techniques and wants to make the violin a solo instrument. As a part of his struggle, he had a job offer in Sri Lanka. Subsequently, he worked in the Radio Ceylon, and he set up the Radio Ceylon First Orchestra. But then 1958, the whole riot started where a lot of people were killed. So some of our very close father's friends suggested, we were a big family, 6 children. We said, just you go back to India, it's better. So we all came by, the ship. They were sending all the people who want to come back to India.
So you started your career playing with some of the greatest Carnatic musicians like Chembai Vaidyanatha Bhagavatar and Palgat Mani Iyer. Then when you moved on to the international stage, you collaborated with greats like George Harrison, Stefan Grappelli, Lord Yehudi Menuhin, and Herbie Hancock.
Playing with people like Chembai and Mani Iyer, especially Chembai, he was a very, very spiritual person. With Mani Iyer, it was a whole different thing, what I can do, which has never been done before. So I knew he was almost, a person with unimaginable ability. George Harrison, he was at the time, he was, Beatles, one of the Beatles, and playing with him was seeing the masses of people going crazy, looking at him and screaming and playing in that crowd, trying to play a Carnatic piece in that situation and trying to bring in that audience to appreciate you playing successfully and make them listen to you. Second thing, your responsibility to make the Carnatic music internationally known. That was a bigger burden than you surviving. So at one point it was a very, very glorious thing to play in these places. And the other side of it was a tremendous pleasure and pressure more than anything else to make it successful, to realize my father's dream, which also became my dream.
You started learning classical music as a child. Then when you moved to Bombay, you started doing a lot of jingles. How did this impact your life, and how did this help you eventually get to playback singing?
Gurudat's younger brother, Vijay Padukone, was kind of my mentor when it comes to singing jingles. So one fine day, he called me to the studio. And this time, the music director, surprisingly, was a very, very well-known singer called G.M. Durrani, who was the Mohammed Rafi of his time. He taught me the jingle. Immediately after he sang the first line, I knew it was based on Rag Bageshri. And then when I sang it, I was trying to sing Rag Bageshri inflections. Like, I'll tell you what it was. It was like, Har roz ek cup complan peene se, Sani dha dha pa ma ga re ma ma ma. So, okay, you've got the composition. Now you're actually selling the product. You've got to sell the product. So how is it? So there it goes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Har roz. You have to stress on the first har. I said, oh my God, I have to stress hard but not miss my pitching. So all these things opened up. This actually started my life. Singing jingles, I think, was the best via media for me before I actually came into films.
So you've been in the film industry for almost 4 decades. You must have a lot of favorites. Favorite singer, favorite song, favorite actress to sing for, favorite music director. Tell us about it.
For me, still, even now, I would say, for a lot of reasons, my song from Mr. India, Hava Hawai, it's one of my very favorite songs. Then, I'm singing my first song for somebody like Sri Devi, who's very emotive in a very different way. So I think I would put Hava Hawai as one of the songs, and I would also put Love Story 1942 as the other song. Because once again, it was R.D. Burman, whom I really, really respect a lot. And very, very beautiful composition, beautiful lyrics. And one of the first few, I would say, very romantic songs that I sang. So for that reason, these two, also I got my first Filmfare for Love Story 1942. I would say these two songs. But when it comes to emoting for actresses, I would say another actress for whom I've always loved singing and I still look forward to singing for her is Shabana Azmi. I did a lot of different kinds of songs for her, but one particular song in Saaz which I did, which was the way she did the scene, you could see the nerves and you could see the voice, and it was like completely a vocalist singing that song. And that was this song, composed by Yashwant Dev Saab. बादल बरस अब मौन भये बादल बरस अब मौन भये. And Madhuri Dixit, another person, especially doing for Madhuri Dixit in Devdas, was very interesting. ये किसकी है आहट, ये किसका है साया, हुई दिल में दस्तक, यहाँ कौन आया, हम पे ये किसने हरा रंग डाला हो, हम पे ये किसने हरा रंग डाला, खुशी ने हमारी हमें मार डाला, मार डाला, मार डाला, हो मार डाला.
Now, as an internationally acclaimed violinist, a figure on the music scene, a composer, people have this very serious perception of you. But there's a very naughty, mischievous side that most people don't know.
Who am I talking about? Once that time I used to live in Los Angeles. We were traveling, landed in Delhi. They had this shooting for the television. Those days they used to have a special, we invited audience. They used to shoot this thing for the television, Doordarshan, and color television was there at that time starting. So one of my regular, very, very experienced mridangam player who normally used to play and travel with me, I told him to come and play along with a couple of other people. So I arrived and we were all tired and exhausted. So meanwhile, they were all trying to get makeup done. So I think the station director, all those people were giving coffee and everything. So I went to the makeup room, and so suddenly I saw this lady with all the brush and everything all ready and for makeup. So I said, he's the main artist quietly. So the mridangam player, who didn't realize what it was, slowly he was taken and they kept on putting makeup. I went and came and said, it's not enough, more, and just went. So they kept on putting makeup. Finally he came with a thick layer of then he didn't know what was happening. So started playing. Every time in between we stop a thing, they used to come to powder and take by the time the makeup really realized that I'm the main artist because I'm sitting in the center. I had very little makeup done. So every time she walked in between to do that in front of audience, I used to do this. Again, she didn't know what to go, and again touch him out. It went on for a while. At the end, he realized that, he had so a thick layer of makeup because I have done this prank on him.
Now, what's the road ahead for you?
Ask me the road ahead. First, let me look from the time I started without thinking I would ever be a singer. I would say first, how I learned music, then suddenly coming to Bombay, doing jingles, and then coming onto stage and starting off with somebody like Hemant Kumar, and then going on to Manna Dey, Mukesh ji, and Talat Saab, and then singing with Sri Ramchandra ji on stage, and then coming to movies and getting a break from very first, one of the first music directors I worked for was Lakshmikant Pyarlal, then R.D. Burman, and then Khayyam Saab, Naushad Saab, till today's music directors, and just thinking what a fantastic journey I've had. I've worked with such great people and emulated so much, tried to learn so much from these people. And then I come to this wonderful, great musician, my husband, and how he made me look at fusion, and he made me see, I love Bollywood, I still love Bollywood, but he still made me deviate a little bit and say, okay, there is a world which is beyond Bollywood. But now if you ask me about the road ahead, apart from the fact that I continue to hope that my husband will want to collaborate with me and do some great intellectual albums which only he can do with me because his thinking is so different in music. I want to do some fantastic albums with him. And moreover, let me tell you that I've had 4 icons in my life from the time I've grown up. Women icons. I'm talking about women musicians. M.S. Subbulakshmi, Lata Mangeshkar, Kishori Amonkar, and Madhurani. These are the 4 singers who have tremendously dedicated to their career and have reached heights, spiritual heights. It's not only technical or fame. I'm not talking about fame or technicality, but I'm talking about people whose music has spiritually elevated me, and I'm sure it's done the same for themselves. So when I look back, and I think a few more years when I really get old and I look back in my career, I should be able to say that there were some things which I did in my life which were able to spiritually elevate my own person, and through my music I have been able to spiritually elevate my audiences in some way or the other. That will satisfy me.
We're here in the kitchen with Kavita Krishnamurthy Subramaniam, and she's going to show us some of her very favorite recipes. Ma, what do you have in store for us today?
You know, I go by my husband's rule that it's always good to start with a sweet. Though this is something you'll eat in the end, but it's auspicious to start with a sweet. So I'm here and I'm going to make my daughter happy by making a very, very simple chocolate pudding.
So what are you going to put in this pudding now?
It's very simple. We have caster sugar, and then we have a little bit of cornstarch, and then I have cocoa, and I have vanilla, and I have the most important ingredient, milk. Simplest thing to do is just mix all the ingredients in this bowl.
And the vanilla essence stays aside for later.
Okay, now I pour in the milk, isn't it?
Yep. And now the nice thing about this pudding is it doesn't matter whether you're doing wet into dry or dry into wet, you just have to mix it.
Yeah.
Now what we have here looks like chocolate milk, and it is magically going to turn into the perfect chocolate pudding.
So what initially I'm going to do is, go to a quick start like this, and maybe go to up to 2 minutes I can safely go at this point, and then wait, and when it stops after 2 minutes, I just have to stir it once, and then again redo the procedure till I find that the mixture is quite thick and smooth. Back to this, back to closing it again.
Putting it in for another
Maybe I'll put it in for another
minute.
Now the thing is, it's pretty thick now, and I'm just going to mix the vanilla sauce into this.
2 teaspoons of vanilla essence just helps give you a nice scent.
Yeah.
Now it's looking a little shiny, so you know the pudding's ready. It's good to eat. But the thing here is you need to pour it into your serving bowls quickly, because otherwise it'll set. Now another quick trick we've got here is cling film. Put it on the pudding and let it sit directly on the pudding so you don't get a skin. Now we put the cling film on and the chocolate pudding is ready to go into the fridge. If you're really greedy, you can eat it now. So we're here with these lovely fresh ingredients in front of us. We've got some spinach here and we're getting ready to make our main course. What are you going to make for us?
It's called spinach and corn bake. And that's what actually I was taught to make this by my mother. And I didn't make it for many years till I got married. And once again, when I had to enter the kitchen after my marriage, point to be noted. So anyway, now...
So if you don't want to enter the kitchen, don't get married, is what she's saying.
Exactly. So I just actually let it, because spinach by itself has a lot of water. So I'm just going to let this cook on its own. And when it's kind of cooked, then I'll add a little salt. I'll come to that later. Let me make my white sauce meanwhile. I've got 100 grams of butter here, but I won't put 100. I put a little less than 100, maybe 75. Okay, now that this is melted, I have about 3/4 cup of maida, but I don't need so much. I will just put enough to kind of not make it very dry.
So this butter is melted, but it's not boiling.
It's melted, it's not boiling, and I put enough maida so it just thickens without being too thick. Okay. When I've added the maida, and you can just see it's just enough to make it into a thick mixture.
It's like a paste.
Without being too dry. And then while I'm doing this, I have to.
So how much are you cooking this?
See, I have to make sure that the smell of the maida vanishes. And I just take it off the gas and I add my milk, which again is probably little more than half a liter here. And I will just, again on instinct, I won't be able to tell you the exact measure, but you can safely put this much, little less than half a liter. And mix it all nicely, put it back in the fire, mix it and make sure it's not too lumpy. And I mix it all, and while I'm doing that, I can add some salt to this. And normally I like freshly ground pepper because it will taste better when you have fresh pepper. My first kitchen memory as a child, my brother and I, we were both students of music and we used to love music. And I remember our teacher used to come, and the days we used to be off, we used to enter the kitchen at night around 7 o'clock when my mother starts cooking dinner. And because we were in an old government house in Delhi, there used to be 3 concrete steps,
Slabs.
So, like slabs. And so we could climb on like ladder to the top one, and all the big vessels were kept. So we would move the vessels, we would sit there, and that used to be our concert platform. And we used to have these big vessels, and we used to be percussionists, vocalists, composers, all rolled into one, and we used to have serious kacheris or concerts which used to go on for an hour. I don't know what kind of bedlam and racket it was, but strangely enough, after many years, my mother told me that she really used to find our music very entertaining and because she was a great lover of music, she used to love our concerts. She used to wait for the time when we'd come and sit on the top, and she just watch us with a smile and beaming, probably feeling happy that we love music. I think the one thing which kept our family together and going was probably this common love and passion for music. As I'm doing this, I'll be saying, suddenly I thought of a song.
So now the sauce is thick but not too thick.
Okay. Now this is actually almost ready to go into the baking dish. So while you're doing, while you're mixing it and you're doing your practice, all these things you're doing, and I'm thinking, I do this, and I'm about to put it into my oven. When something tells me, Kalika, don't do this. For me, put the cheese. And the cheesy family won't like this without the cheese. But even
Take
for
your
me,
life.
I'm not a super chef, but I think this looks pretty decent.
It does, it looks pretty good.
And then,
Now that she's done with the easy part, that is cooking, time for me and my family to get on to the difficult part, eating.
yes, the crocodile also.
So with good food, good company, there's only one thing left to do. Cheers.
Cheers.
So, what do you do?
Something different.
Okay, tell me.
They have not heard me sing,
No, they haven't, that's true.
so they have not heard you play the violin.
Oh, playing the violin is amazing, and especially played by me. They're really missing something. They should hear me today.
Good luck. You might
Like
need
they
a
should hear you
bowl too.
singing too. What a great combination of me playing the violin and you
Okay.
singing. Yeah.
1,
Start.
2, 3, 4.
गजरा बना के ले आ मालनिया गजरा बना के ले आ मालनिया वो आए हैं घर में हमारे वो आए हैं घर में हमारे देर ने अब तू लगा गजरा बना के ले आ मालनिया